The New England Patriots have become the giant killers of the AFC. Week 4, the Patriots started to show signs of strength and things to come by slaying the Goliath of the Central Division, the previously unbeaten Houston Oilers. Last week, the Patriots played David once again, relying on the slingshot of quarterback Hugh Millen and the sure hands of wide receiver Irving Pryor to stun the Buffalo Bills. Today they face the Denver Broncos, a giant in the unpredictable AFC West. Will the Broncos loom larger than life, or will the Patriots deliver another knockout punch?
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Mile High Stadium. Yes, John Elway is going to start. The Denver Broncos won the toss. They will be receiving. The right shoulder is all warm, and we are set to go with the kickoff. I'm Charlie Jones, along with Todd Christensen, and Derek Russell is the return man. Across the 20, the backpedaling past the 25 and near the 30-yard line. And the Denver offense, an offensive line of Davidson, Kirk, Karts, Wydell, and Lanier. Backs and receivers. Elway, of course, is the question mark with that tendonitis in his right shoulder. When they go to their 10 set, both backs and the tight end will come out. Steve Sewell, Vance Johnson, and Ricky Nattiel will come in. So Denver opens at their own 29-yard line, first down. You see the shifting in the defensive line. The Patriots will show a lot of defensive fronts. And the quick out far side to Russell, and Russell goes out of bounds. So Elway comes out throwing. The shoulder is all right. Fred Marion was there for the defense. Todd, let's take a look at his throwing motion.
Well, right off the bat, they decided to say, well, let's see right away whether or not you can do it. People are looking for a running play. Quick out to the side, and Reese Hurst overruns it, but that motion looks pretty good to me. Didn't wait for him to grab it or anything else. I guess the shot took effect.
The ball at the 42-yard line, an opening 13 yards on the first play. Elway, a deep setup, good protection, goes high. It is brought in. They'll say no. That Russell did not get both feet inbounds. They're picking on Maurice Hurst, and Hurst is the man who had 2 interceptions last week, 3 on the year. As we'll take another look at the end of that play.
Well, they're certainly not babying Elway's shoulder. Derek Russell in for the injured Mark Jackson. It wasn't even close. Even the first foot wasn't in bounds. It was on chalk. Good call by the official.
So it is 2nd and 10. The ball at the Denver 42-yard line. Opening drive of the ball game. The weather, the temperature 20 degrees. It is very calm, so it is a perfect day for football. Clear sky, and the sun is out. It is gorgeous in the Rocky Mountains. Greg Lewis has checked into that offensive set for Denver. He is there to block. The pass is complete to Ricky Nattiel. And they're going to mark him down at the 50-yard line.
Well, now, David Poole stripped him of the ball. That's interesting to see as to whether or not he was out of bounds first. Oftentimes, what happens is the official is always going to call forward progression here. Now, Ricky Nattiel is going to lower his head. Okay, I'm gone. Now, let's take a look at 27. When does he get the ball away from Nattiel? He's got it right there. Oh, he's got it right there. Wait a minute. Oh, boy, that's awfully close.
That is close. That is close. The ball spotted at the 50-yard line.
Evidently, they're not going to review it, but that was a heads-up play by Poole, and you can see there with his hands up and shaking his head. He feels like he got it, and he's got a point.
3rd down, a little over a yard to go for the first down. And Lewis gets the call. And the surge will take him to the first down. To the New England 46-yard line, first down. Defensively for New England, the front 7 and linebacker Vincent Brown. He is their top tackler. He has been outstanding. The secondary, Lepet, Hurst, Colin, and Marion. In passing situations, David Howard, David Poole, and Mickey Washington will come in. Elway with a bone spur in that right shoulder. Tendonitis, and it is rubbing against each other is the report that we received. Doesn't seem to be bothering his throwing motion. He's a little high and wobbly on the pass. It is incomplete. Russell, the intended receiver. Lepet had the coverage. 2nd down.
Well, you know, a lot of times your adrenaline gets flowing. You know, we talk about cold games, we talk about injuries. Evidently, here's the situation as we look at Russell down on the ground.
Ooh.
He took a pretty good shot from Ronnie Lepet there at the end of the play. Had to stretch back at somewhat of an awkward angle. Take a look. The ball should be a little bit farther to the outside, and right there, Lepet comes right underneath his shoulder, and he lands strangely. Look at how his shoulder falls underneath him there. Most of the times, if you want to land, take my word for it, you want to land on the back of your shoulder blades or your butt or your elbows. That was a very awkward way to land. You can see right there the way he's holding his shoulder. He is in some pain. Now Charlie, that's really a big deal because last week, those who follow football closely know that Mark Jackson dislocated his wrist and is out for the season. This is his replacement here in Derek Russell, as we say, holding that left elbow or shoulder, which he fell on strangely.
And Ricky Nattiel has come in, replacing Russell. Elway has completed 2 of 4 for 20 yards. 2nd and 10. Incomplete. Michael Young could not pull it in, and it will be 3rd down.
It's going to be interesting what they do here because now what they're going to do in the 4 wide receiver set. But prior to that, we'll see Michael Young, their possession receiver, tied for the lead with the Broncos with 33, lays out and tries to come up with it. But Elway backpedaling, threw off his back foot, didn't get stationary, and as a result, Young wasn't able to come up with it.
Steve Sewell checks into the offensive set. 3rd down and 10. No score, opening drive of the ball game. Elway with time. Comes forward, pass is complete to Young, 1st down.
What Elway does better than anybody else. Watch number 99 in the middle of your screen, David Howard. He comes out. Now Elway bides his time. Now as he comes up, watch 99 Howard come towards him. The minute he commits, that leaves Michael Young all alone in the middle of the field. John Elway may have problems with his shoulders, but the issue here is his feet. We got a chance to see Vance Johnson wide open in the middle of the field.
But Elway was occupied at the time.
Yeah, he was a little bit busy.
25-yard line, 1st down. And Vance Johnson told us he may see a little more football, quite a few more footballs coming his way today. That's what he expects. Gaston Green, as he picks up 5 yards to the 20-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and 5 as Vincent Brown makes the tackle.
You know, I was trying to make the point earlier. You know, the whole thing of Elway's shoulder is a big deal, but I've been convinced that the thing that sets him apart, I mean, there are a lot of guys in this league with a gun for an arm, but that 4.7 speed and his ability to get out, I mean, it's a priority now in the National Football League to have a quarterback that is mobile, and that man right there creates so many problems for a defense as a result of his ability to run.
2nd and 5, flags are down, whistle sound.
Ball start. Number 88 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard
Clarence
penalty.
Kay, the tight end.
A little bit anxious here, takes off, wants to get position on Andre Tipper. That was a run going wide. I can tell you that because it's a tight end. I know that outside step trying to hook the backer.
Is there a tendency to, to try and jump the count a little bit to do that?
Yes. Plus, you want to impress those coaches in the film room and say, boy, aren't I quick? Look how I got off the ball, sucker. Boy, I can really go.
We're moving on the 11-minute mark, time remaining 1st quarter. Second down and 10 on the draw. Here's Gaston Green. Close to the 21-yard line. Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6 to go as Vincent Brown makes the tackle for the Patriots.
Vincent Brown, as you mentioned, Charlie, is one of the inside backers who'd be heading to the Pro Bowl. He has a great nickname. I love his nickname. You know what his nickname is?
No.
You don't know?
No.
The Sultan of Smash. No, come on. No, I like it. It grows on me. It grows on me a little bit. It does. The Sultan of Smash. You know.
Let me think about it. I may like
how about the Maharaja of Mash?
I like that. That's better.
Like that?
I may like it better in the second half than the first half.
Okay, well. Hey, man, if you got 100 tackles in 12 games, you're doing something.
End zone. Touchdown. Denver. Vance Johnson. He said he expected to see more footballs coming his way. He scores the first touchdown of the game. He beat Mickey Washington.
Well, Vance Johnson has had a lot of problems this year with off-field issues. You can see him very excited there. He's got a corner out against Mickey Washington. They came with the safety in the middle, and John Elway reads that man-for-man coverage. Mickey Washington is there, but can't quite get it, and give Vance Johnson credit at the nice catch to go down and come up with it. Number 82, famous for his art, patterning himself somewhat after Patrick Nagel, for those of you who have had the opportunity to see some of it on television or in your local gallery.
It was reviewed. It is a touchdown, and now the extra point attempt.
Interesting, too, but long before Donald Trump was referred to as the Donald, Vance referred to himself as the Vance.
The Vance. That I like.
Not me. Boy, we're 0 for 2, man.
Yeah. Denver leads it 7-0. Elway 4 of 7, 62 yards. Here's the kickoff, high and short, and a fair catch is called for. I believe it was that Ben Oates that took it on the fair catch. Yes, the backup tight end.
That's heads up, I tell you what. You know, if he doesn't make the fair catch, there's 3 or 4 guys that might cream him and the ball comes loose. That's heads up by a rookie. I like that.
All right, New England's offense. That offensive line, look at number 77, right tackle, USC, Pat Harlow. He could be the rookie of the year. Backs and receivers led by the connection, Hugh Millen, Irving Fryer. When they go to the diamond, 2 running backs come out. John Stevens and Michael Timpson will come in. First time for the Patriots in offense, and they come out throwing. Millen fires, and he bounces it short out. Fryer, it's incomplete. It'll be second down. Denver's defense, their front 7, they are hurting because they're missing Mike Kroll and defensive end Warren Powers. They are both out due to injuries. And a look at the secondary with Braxton, Henderson, Smith, and Atwater. When they go to the nickel, 2 defensive linemen, a linebacker come out. Dimry, Robbins, and Kenny Walker all come in. It is second down. A double tight end set for the Patriots. The rookie running back Leonard Russell, who has been a sensation this year, picks up 3 to the 29. It'll be third down and still 7 to go as we check in with the ITT 10-minute ticker. Fourth quarter, Buffalo leading the Jets. A final, Miami defeats Tampa Bay 33-14. Cleveland 6 quarterback sacks. They shut out Indianapolis. Cleveland plays Denver next week. Close one in the 4th, Green Bay and Atlanta.
Charlie, interesting to note in that Indianapolis game, Eric Dickerson went past Jim Brown on the all-time list of rushers.
Here Denver leads 7-0. Millen is sacked as he is put down by Mecklenburg.
Charlie, as you mentioned earlier, number 77, Carl Mecklenburg, is going to have to come up a little bit. You can see the arm over. He was able to get by Elbert Crawford. Without Mike Kroll, their leading sacker, they need to generate a little bit more of a pass rush. And Mecklenburg, only 235 pounds, they had him at defensive tackle. But evidently, the defensive coaches, Wade Phillips in particular, feels like Crawford might be the weak link in that offensive line, and that's where they put Mecklenburg. And good results for the Broncos.
The officials step in as Denver has taken a timeout, and we'll be back in just a moment. Mile High Stadium, a punting situation. Broncos had 12 men on the field of play, and the snapper for the Patriots will be Danny Villa. They have had some problems of late snapping on punts and on kicks.
Last week they had 4 kicks blocked, and Coach McPherson was telling us yesterday that if their punter wasn't 6'6", they'd have had even more problems.
Good snap. There's pressure. He gets it off. Good kick. Vance Johnson, fair catch, and he takes it at the 36-yard line. And we'll step aside once again. The score is Denver 7 and New England nothing. John Elway's record at Mile High Stadium as a starter, 48 victories, only 15 defeats. And by the way, that touchdown pass in the first quarter that he has thrown to Vance Johnson is only the second, count it, 1-2, second touchdown pass in the first quarter of any game this year, with the exception of the first quarter of the first game of the season.
Now go figure why in 20-degree temperature with his shoulder killing if you start off fast. Does that make any sense to you? This goes to show you how you can't predict what happens in sport.
Berryman, the ball carrier, and Agnew makes the stop.
He dribbled that one for 2 yards, took the hand off and bounced it. I thought he was playing for the Nuggets, not the Broncos.
Let's go back and look at this. I don't think it was a very clean exchange, actually.
Well, it's one of those deals where...
There it bounces, comes back up. I have it. Okay, here we go.
Evidently, he thought that there was one dribble per 5 yards.
Second and 9, Elway to throw. Fires. Incomplete. Hit Gaston Green, I think, on the shoulder pads right in the chest. Came out. Couldn't bring it back down. Is that what happened?
Well, both running backs are having a problem here in the first 2 plays, hanging on to the ball. That's a pass right between the 2 and the 8. The ricochets off the shoulder pad. I can tell you something from experience, though. Having played with John Elway in a Pro Bowl, he throws the ball hard, and he throws the ball hard all the time. And so Gaston Green only 11 yards away, I can see how that could be a little bit difficult to catch still.
That was one of the raps on him early on, you know, the first few years that he didn't have a touch. It's developed more of a touch.
Yeah, but you know what Dan Reeves said? He said, hey, we just spent the money for this franchise. The receiver's the ones that have to adjust, not Elway.
Flag is down, a free play for Denver. They go deep, and it is incomplete, and the flag is downfield.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. No, that was a nice job by Maurice Hurst catching up again and looking back for the ball. Now, Michael Young, an admitted non-speedster, give Hurst credit. He was able to catch up to him, and they're going to call interference here, and I don't like it at all.
The first flag was the offside. That gave him the free play because they could at least get the ball back. And then the pass interference call.
That penalty's accepted. Offside on the defense. That penalty's declined. First down.
See, the hands of the defensive backs are tied as it is with the no bruh. Now watch 37. Now watch what he does here. He catches up. Now his left hand comes a little bit. Now that might be illegal contact, but he has a right to get back there and look back for the ball. Plus the fact that that was very catchable in the part of Michael Young. And so in effect what the referee has done there is he grants Michael Young a reprieve because he didn't come up with the ball. No. You got to let him collide a little bit out there. It's just too tough to play defensive back as it is.
37-yard penalty, first down. Pass is complete to Young, and he goes to the 10-yard line. Lockhart makes the tackle. It'll be a first down.
Now here's something that's very smart if you're Elway. You know that Hurst is upset. Now he's going to backpedal. He's a little bit gun shy. He plays off. He's got Young on a slant. Look how far off Hurst is in that situation. He's at least 3-4 yards farther back than he needed to be because why? Now all of a sudden he's gun shy because of the official's call earlier. He doesn't want to collide with him and get another penalty. Heads up by Elway to go right back to him.
Denver on top 7-0. They threaten again. We have 7:38 and counting. Time remaining. We're in the first quarter. Offensively, New England 3 and out. That's been it. Oh, he just made it.
Yes, Sultan of Smash, my main man. Now tell me tell me on that hit. Now you like it, right?
I like it.
It applies.
I like it better.
This was a collegiate teammate of Jerry Rice, but he's no longer in this man's shadow. Watch 59 come to the ball, unencumbered. Hello, Gaston Green. Sit your butt down. Nice hit by number 59, Vincent Brown, who now has his 100th tackle of the season. 6'2", 245 pounds. You know, there are a lot of good inside backers in the AFC. You've got your Al Smith. You've got Carl Mecklenburg on the other side. But I would dare say that this man is playing as well or better than any of them.
I would agree. He is. Elway with protection. It's dropped. Incomplete. Reggie Johnson, the rookie tight end from Florida State, the intended receiver. It'll be third down. The ITT 10-minute ticker. Buffalo defeats the Jets. Miami defeats Tampa Bay. These, of course, the early games. Cleveland shut out Indianapolis. Final, Atlanta defeats Green Bay, 35-31. In the late games, Kansas City, Seattle tied at 3. Redskins leading the Rams 7-3 in the first. New Orleans, San Francisco, no score. Giants in front of Cincinnati. Here it is Denver 7 and New England nothing. Third down and 12. 4 wide receivers for the Broncos. Elway scrambles up the middle, and he will get to the 4-yard line. The ball pops loose. They're going to rule the ball dead when Elway was down. And, of course, as everybody knows by now, quote, the ground cannot cause a fumble, in a quote.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've watched a game or two where it did, but hey, be that as it may. Once again, Elway's feet, sweet feet, coming in and out. Had a shot at him right there. He gets past Williams, dives. You know what else I like about this? All right, this is what I like. Oh, look at that.
Only player in history to throw for over 3,000 yards and rush for more than 200 yards in 6 straight seasons.
Very impressive, that man. You know what's interesting about that? This man defies the quarterback ratings. I want to get into that a little bit after this extra point. Oh, excuse me.
20-yard field goal attempt. Kubiak holding. Treadwell to the upright.
That was like an extra point.
Now, Denver 10, but it counts 3. New England, nothing. Welcome back to Mile High Stadium. New England has had only 3 offensive possessions, 3 offensive snaps, plus their punt. Their total offense is minus 8 yards. Denver has 99 yards. Again, the short kick, and the fair catch is called for, this time by Johnny Rimbert, the linebacker. And New England is coming onto the field offensively for only the 2nd time in the ballgame.
Hey, I got a question for you. Wait a minute. I mean, this is Mile High Stadium. Why is there something wrong with David Treadwell that we don't know about?
Yeah, his kickoffs are short.
Well, no kidding, Sherlock. I've seen that. I mean, I'm talking about the fact that
even when they're long, they're short.
No.
Normally he kicks to the 15.
But wait a minute. We're talking about this is Mile High Stadium. This is, you know, the air. What's the deal here? Is there a? You know what? I think he might be hurt.
No, he has
25-yard line.
Big trouble on the road too.
Well, then why don't they have Ferrand or somebody else? What, his foot's cold in your parade?
All right, New England from the 25-yard line, trailing 10-0. Leonard Russell gets the call. He's going to get about 3 yards. Program note here on NBC Sports. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time, the Gatorade Ironman Triathlon, a 2.5-mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, all concluding with a marathon 26 miles, 385 yards. 1,500 athletes from 49 countries will put their skills to the test. You watch it next Saturday here on NBC. Ron Holmes is the injured player for the Denver Broncos, the defensive end. And that defensive Denver a bit on the short side. We mentioned earlier that Warren Bowers, the defensive end, is out. Mike Kroll, the linebacker, is out. Offensively, Mark Jackson is on IR with that bad wrist, and Holmes comes up limping.
I noticed, too, that I didn't see Derek Russell back on that last series. I'd be interested to find out what the situation is with him and his elbow.
Kenny Walker comes in to replace Ron Holmes. It is 2nd down and 7, 5.5 minutes. Time remaining. We're in the first quarter. Denver out in front by a score of 10-0, and they've started to weave away through Mile High Stadium. And you know when they're doing it because the press box is. Double tight end on the set. Millen, little play action, spins out from pressure, now has even more. Turns and throws, and he gets away with it. In reality, a young mistake. He was throwing to Marv Cook, who was in the neighborhood because he knew that's where he would be, but he threw that up for grabs.
You're right. He was lucky to get away with that. But this is also heads up. He knows that right here that he does the 2 360s. Now on the second 360, he says, I don't have a chance. I'm going to get sacked. So he throws it up for grabs, and you're right. He was lucky. Give Marv Cook credit, though, for getting in the middle of the two and preventing Dennis Smith from getting an easy interception.
Total yards, New England, -5. Denver, 88. That's total offense to this point, 99. 3rd down and 7. From the shotgun, the Denver defense is completely closed down the Patriot offense. Flip to the outside. Braxton got him, 2nd sack.
Well, the chess match between defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator at this point is certainly being won by Wade Phillips. From the right of your screen, here comes Tyrone Braxton. Nobody touches him. And Millen, because he's looking the other way, can't see him coming. They can't account for him. John Stevens has to see him out the corner of his eye, but obviously he didn't. And as a result, big sack for the Denver Broncos.
Danny Villa is the snapper. Good snap. And the kick is away. Another good kick. Johnson takes it at the 30-yard line. Has about 4 yards on the return. Tony Zachary got him a 51-yard kick by Sean McCarthy.
John Elway off to a good start here. He's already thrown, if you count the penalty, for over 100 yards. And, you know, he defies this whole quarterback rating thing. There you can see, you know, if you throw in that 40-yard interference penalty, he's over 100. Boy, I like to be right. Anyway, the point here is that in the case of Elway, here's a guy with a 76-point rating, more than 23 points behind Jim Kelly. But I have to ask myself the question, would you rather have John Elway, or would you rather have the likes of O'Donnell, O'Brien, Schrader, or Craig?
You go with Elway. Oh, sure.
Well, so that's why I'm saying the whole rating system is bogus.
Quick out far side is complete. And that is Derek Russell, who is back in the ball game. You will recall he was shaken up earlier. Chris Singleton makes the defensive play. It'll be second down.
But just to elaborate upon that point, the issue there is the fact that as the quarterback, see, that rating system rewards things like low rate of interception and high completion percentage. So if you're a guy that comes into the season, you throw all to your backs and you have like a 72% completion percentage, you'll have a high rating, but you're not making big plays. That man right there is notorious for making big plays.
Second down and 1. And this is a down he likes to go deep on. He gives instead to Lewis, and Lewis will pick up the first down as he crosses the 45 to the 46-yard line. A reminder that at the conclusion of today's game, we presume the Avis We Try Harder Award. Altitude's getting to my throat. The We Try Harder will be given to the game's most valuable player.
I like that.
Go ahead with it. Go ahead with that.
What, for this money? Heck no. Denver right now dominating the line of scrimmage, which is surprising. Their offensive line certainly isn't their strong point, but thus far they've been able to keep Elway from getting sacked. They're opening some pretty good holes for the backs.
They spotted at the 45, first down. On the draw, Gaston Green, and he's got 5. Second down and 5.
Nowadays what happens is the pass sets up the run instead of vice versa. Look at the delay. Now see, they're into a pass rush mode. You can see they come up the field a little bit quicker, but that enables them to get into the chest of the defensive lineman, and that creates a gap for Gaston Green. Because of the success Elway has had earlier in the drives of throwing the ball, now New England is of a mindset to rush the passer, and that opens up lanes for the running backs.
Marion Hobby with the last tackle. The remaining back is Greg Lewis, rookie from Washington, and he carries. Has about 3, and it'll be third down. Mr. Brown with his tackle.
Front line once again establishing themselves. Just a straight dive play to Greg Lewis, the former Washington running back. Piles in there and once again Sullivan smash into the tackle. You know what? I know I got to get rid of that. I know it's going to be redundant by the end of the day, but I just...
It's already redundant.
No, don't say that now. I love the sound of it. Sullivan smash. No kidding.
Third down and 1. 4 wide receivers, shotgun. Elway, it is low, but scooped up by Steve Sewell. Washington was there to cover him immediately. They do not pick up the first down.
This is strange to me, Charlie. Just to show how the game has changed to me. First of all, that's a bad route by Steve Sewell. When you have when you have third and 1.5.
Why bad?
Well, certainly you can run a flat route of 2 yards to get the first down. Instead, he's a yard short on a 2-yard route. It's ridiculous. Here's the other thing. Remember the old days when third and 1, third and 2 meant short yardage plays?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was looking for the run.
Here's third and 1.5, and they go to 4 wide receivers in a shotgun. Oh, an evolution of the game I don't like.
Mike Moran will be kicking. Is that Irving Flyers going to return? A little bit of a surprise. We expect to see Jerome Henderson.
Charlie, really, back in 1985, he had a punt return average of over 14 yards. This man was the AFC Pro Bowl return man in 1985.
Moran nails it in the corner. They're going to mark it about the 9-yard line.
Now, the reason I wanted you to take a picture of that is because of the fact that this is one of the inexact sciences here in the National Football League. When you get coffin corner kicks, you have the umpire, rather the line judge, to come up and mark it, as he does right there. And if we can go back to the referee, what he does at midfield is that he angles that with his eyes. Now, I have to ask myself the question, how can you from 60 yards away make that as exact as you possibly could? I mean, where he points it with the one eye, doing kind of the Robin Hood thing over with the right arm. Yeah, that's funny.
New England, third time on offense in the ballgame. as they start now from their own 9-yard line. Pressure coming from the inside as Russell tries to get to the outside, and he is chased out of bounds by Dennis Smith. It'll be second down.
New England at this point, Charlie, they just need a play to get a first down. They need something to happen. They need something. They need an 8-yard catch. They need a 9-yard run. They need something to get out of this hole. Leonard Russell, one of the contenders, as you mentioned at the outset, of Rookie of the Year. You can see what a difference he has made to this team in the last 6 games versus the first 6. In fact, I think that there are 3 Rookie of the Year candidates on the field, not on the field today, but into the city. Leonard Russell certainly is one. The right tackle, Pat Harlow, as you mentioned, and of course, the injured Mike Kroll leading the team with 10 sacks heading into this game for the Denver Broncos.
Second and 9. Russell on the draw. And he is going to be stopped at about the 14, maybe the 15-yard line. Jeff Mills was there.
All pop loose with the ground. Oh, you said that already.
He got that foot. We'll take the countdown to the end of the first quarter with the score, Denver 10 and New England nothing. Back in a moment. This is cayenne pepper. The reason that we bring this up is the fact that Miami used this in the game when they went to Chicago, and when it was cold, and they put it inside the shoes and gloves, and it really helped. I'm just trying to put my throat.
Well, that's all well and good. I preferred on jambalaya myself, but you're right. It was Jim Jensen who had the idea from a friend of his. They put it in the gloves, and it actually made them a little bit warmer.
And New England was thinking about they didn't do it because it didn't turn out as cold as it has been.
Well, plus they decided they preferred it on red beans and rice.
Third down. Millen throws far side. Fryer has it, and he goes out of bounds. First down, New England. First time they've got the connection working.
Well, that's what they had to do. As we mentioned, they needed to get the initial first down, and unfortunately for them, it happens early in the second quarter. This is an out route by Irving Fryer. They said they're going to double team him, but Irving Fryer told us yesterday, hey, it's been happening to me all year. I can still beat the double team. You can see right there, underneath and on top, they had him doubled, but Fryer able to come up with a grab.
It was a nice conversation with him. He really has changed.
Yes, he has. I should say right there with that catch, he only needed 6 yards to break his personal record for yardage in the season. And with that game right there, he has just done that. He's had a career year.
Play action fake by Millen. He's in trouble, and he will go down. Mecklenburg gets him. That is the 3rd sack for the Denver Broncos.
Mecklenburg comes on the inside blitz, and Leonard Russell, the rookie, wasn't able to pick him up soon enough. Watch 77 just coming right up the middle. Now, that's Russell's responsibility. He goes for the cut block and misses his legs, and as soon as he does that, that makes Millen a dead duck. Carl Mecklenburg, oddly enough, the 2 sacks that he's had today almost added up to what he had in the first 12 games. He only had 3 sacks coming in, but he did have 94 tackles. Now, Joe Collier working for the New England Patriots, he does not move around the field like he used to, but he is still a presence. He still makes the plays.
Second and 16. The give is to Ivy Joe Hunter. There's nothing there. A yard, possibly 2. Brooks and Cragen stop him. We'll check in with the Budweiser 10-minute ticker on the late games. Kansas City and Seattle tied at 3 in the Kingdome. Rams clawing back against the Redskins. The margin there is 1. New Orleans, San Francisco, still no score. And Giants and Cincinnati tied. Cincinnati has come back to tie that in the second quarter. And here Denver continues to shut out New England. 10-0. We're in the second period. New England with 3 wide receivers. Third down. Millen goes. It is intercepted by Dennis Smith.
Charlie, you can see right there, Hugh Millen rather, just throws off his chin strap and walks off the field. He knew right away that that was a horrendous throw. Going into this game, as you mentioned, Hugh Millen had improved. He had 6 touchdown passes, but he still had now his 12th interception of the season. 3rd and 16, not an enviable position for the quarterback, and he tries to get it all in one fell swoop, and you see the ball sail. Dennis Smith waiting for it with a couple Baryshnikov-like twists. The 11-year veteran returns the ball. Now he is the leading interceptor for the Denver Broncos, tied with Steve Atwater.
Baryshnikov, the Sultan of Denver.
No, see, that was weak. That was really weak.
Greg Lloyd. And he's going to get a couple. The line of scrimmage is 29. He goes to the 27-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And Johnny Rimbert made the tackle.
Besides that, he's Russian, so he'd have to be the czar of dance.
Right? Okay.
Just so you know. Not a happy man right there. Coach Dick McPherson pacing up and down. Earlier, he had a big argument with the side judge regarding an interference penalty, but he's got to be a little bit concerned right now because his cohorts have not exactly shut down John Elway.
2nd down. Elway with time, drops it off underneath the coverage to Lewis. Lewis will head fake outside, comes back inside to the 20-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and still a yard to go. Dick McPherson, the New England Patriot head coach, he prefers it to be pronounced McPherson. He says there's no fear in person. When he was a youngster back in the late 60s, he was one of the assistant coaches with the Denver Broncos.
Evidently, Jose Bear did not reside in Denver at the time with that haircut. That's kind of a Mike Nomad look. You remember that? That comes Steve Roper and Mike Nomad with the eternal truth. That's what it looks like.
And we have a timeout called by the New England Patriots, their first timeout. That stops the clock, 11:55. Time remaining, we're in the 2nd quarter, Mile High Stadium. Denver is on top by a score of 10-0. We'll step aside for just a moment, and we'll be back.
When the Mazda
A familiar face here in Mile High Stadium, Joe Collier, for many years, an assistant with the Denver Broncos and now defensive coordinator with the New England Patriots.
Somewhat ignominious dismissal by Collier, by Dan Reeves and the organization. I'm sure he'd like nothing better than to come here and flip up in the Broncos.
Lewis right side, 1st down, fumble, New England has it.
Nice play there by Tim Gordon. Lewis busts through for the 1st down, but they strip the ball of him, and this time the forward motion thing did not come into play. Watch the right side of your screen. They come off. Great job. The offensive line. Perriman comes in and gets the Sultan of Smash. But watch what Fred Marion does there. That veteran, 11-year veteran, pulls the ball away from Lewis, and Gordon is able to come up with the turnover. Freddie Marion, what a good guy. I really like him. Pro Bowler back in 1985, the year that they went to the Super Bowl. Not only that, over the last 5 years, that man right there, number 31, who McPherson admits as a step slow, had averaged 100 tackles a year. Very impressive for a free safety.
So New England with their first turnover, and Russell is the ball carrier. They took it over at the 16-yard line, and he picks up 5 to the 21. It'll be 2nd down and 5 as Dennis Smith and Ron Holmes make the tackle. And we were talking about Joel Collier, the leader of the defense for the New England Patriots. This is what he looked like as he was an assistant at Denver from 1968 to 1980, and a lot of coaching connections. The Denver connection, you might call it, with the New England Patriots. And this is a group, and there's one man in addition to this group that we'll talk about in a moment. Russell, in this time, so Shea and Brooks were waiting for him at the 20-yard line. He lose a yard.
Michael Brooks does a nice job of reading the guard pulling there. Michael Brooks leading the Denver Broncos in tackles coming into the game with 104. Watch left guys, watch 56. As soon as the guard comes out, he cuts behind him because he feels like he has the speed to do it, and he did exactly that. And the result was that John Mullane, the right guard, was not able to pick him up.
For the Patriots. Denver's defense has really played well. Miller has time, rolls out to his right. Now he throws. Oh, sliding grab by Pryor. No, he did not have it. Irving Pryor could not hold on to it. Emery was right there. It'll be 4th down.
That's too bad because Irving Pryor did an outstanding job. That's exactly what you're supposed to do, is come back to the quarterback when he starts to scramble. And that's what number 80 does. Slides. Now he's down. He's touched there. We can't quite see the angle of the ball because the ball came out a little bit later. Here's Irving Pryor getting past Michael Brooks, the middle linebacker. They have him double covered because there's also a corner right behind him. Comes back, makes the catch. He's down. He gets touched. Now the ball comes out. Debatable call there, but the official decided that it was an incomplete pass.
And actually came close to being an interception as the ball came out, did not touch the ground. So they may be reviewing this. Hard to tell from that how long he had possession. Again, remember that you're watching that replay in slow motion.
Will a timer please set the 45-25 clock to 14
Certainly there he
seconds.
has possession. He's down there. Now does the ball come out? The point here is that he's not down.
Ruled incomplete pass.
So it didn't take long for him to do that. He is not, even though he is on the ground, of course, here in the professional ranks, if he is not touched, he isn't down. So the minute Dimry touches him is when he is down. And as soon as Dimry collided with him, the ball came in. It's a good call for the official.
Fourth down. And the kick. Good kick. Taken by Vance Johnson. We've got a timeout. We'll be back. Denver has the lead.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products. And by Imodium AD, for diarrhea, the choice for one-dose relief.
Welcome back to Mile High Stadium with 10:09 time remaining in the first half. Denver out in front of New England by a score of 10-0, and the Denver defense has truly shut down the Patriot offense. They haven't been able to do anything. Denver with the ball now at their own 41-yard line. The big story here, in case you joined us late, was whether or not John Elway would be able to play. He did start and has been playing very well. Gaston Green gets the handoff, and he goes to the 46, a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. We mentioned the Denver connection among the coaches of the New England Patriots. One, of course, is Stan Jones, who before the game from Pete Elliott received his Hall of Fame ring. Quite a moment. That's what the Hall of Fame ring looks like. And that's my hand holding it out. I didn't want to give it back. It really had a nice feeling to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but the people that possess that have something worth infinitely more than a couple of thou and a diamond ring. That is something special.
I think it's gorgeous. I think it is gorgeous. Gaston Green. And he's going to come up a yard, maybe a yard and a half shy of the first down. It'll be third and short as Vincent Brown makes the tackle.
Now, wait a minute. You think that's gorgeous? I'm talking about just from an aesthetic standpoint. It's not the prettiest ring in the world.
This is gorgeous. The record comparison. New England at this point last year, 1-11. Denver also had a poor year, 3-9. Denver's improved to 8-4. I think New England's improvement to 4-8 is even more impressive than Denver's 8-4, because no question the Broncos had a much stronger nucleus going into this season.
That's sort of the state of the organization of Patriots last year. You're absolutely right.
Here is the reverse. And always diving for it, and the ball pops out again. It is down at the 26-yard line. Gaston Green, when he came back, were they going to run a little flea flicker? Did they have something on their sleeve that the Broncos end up with?
You know, it's funny to me. You might want to second guess that, because you say, wait a minute, everything is working. It's 3rd and 1. Let's just go with the standard play. It looked to me like it might be. This is what Earl Campbell used to do with the Houston Oilers. But right there you can see he loses the ball. He was going to get stuffed anyway. Good effort there by Elway. Boy, dangerous on his shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a mad scramble for the ball. Unfortunately for the Broncos, they were able to come up with it.
Let's save that replay. Point out one other thing. High snap by Denver. They get the kick away here.
Whoa.
Great by Haran. As Henderson chases it back to the 28-yard line. Mike Haran nails the kick for the Broncos. We'll be back in a moment. John Elway checking his wrist. He carries the plays there. Earlier this season, he was calling about 75% of the plays. He now only calls about 10%, and the rest come from the coaching staff. That last punt by Haran, by the way, 56 yards.
And who's going to take the blame over the last punt?
Oh, that was a strange call. And we'll talk about that even more. Here is Russell. And he is to the 30-yard. Has a couple of yards. It'll be second down. Mecklenburg with the tackle. Let's go back to that play of Denver.
As I mentioned, Earl Campbell was one who perfected this. They're trying to get the over pursuit of the backside linebacker. You can see Elway right there coming back. He knows it's a designed play.
He is set to block.
But Tim Goad is not fooled. And to complicate matters, of course, Gaston Green loses the ball. And Charlie, I would agree with you that you can certainly second guess that, particularly where the offense was going. Why do you have to go to a trick play when your regular plays are working fine?
And why, with a bad right shoulder, do you put Elway in a play where he is going to block? I mean, that's part of the set play.
You don't pay this guy $3 million to block.
Second and 9. Almost intercepted as Braxton was diving in front of McMurtry. It'll be third down.
Tyrone Braxton is an interesting story. This is the man in 1987 following the Broncos Super Bowl year who was the last pick of the entire draft. He anticipates the quick play, and you can see right there, lays out and is almost able to come up with the interception. Then last year, when he finally established himself as a starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, he gets his knee torn up in a game against Seattle. He's able to come back from that. So this is a man who has overcome a lot of adversity in his time to be where he is in the National Football League.
New England has converted only 1 of 5 third down opportunities. It is third down and 8. They go with 3 wide receivers. Millen from the shotgun. Rolls right. It is there for him if he can make it. A little outside in head fake. And
Nice
he
stretch.
stretches out, but I don't think they're going to give it the full stretch.
Boy, they're not even going to give him a yard and a half worth of the stretch.
No,
Look at that.
I think his knee may have gone out before he made the stretch.
Yeah, but
Good effort.
yeah, I like the effort. This is what's called a turmoil. You can see the double team right here in the defensive end to have him buy time. Now, right here, he makes the decision to run. Kind of a semi-funky move there. Now, gosh, that's close. That's awfully close there. I'm not sure that his knee went out of bounds, but you have to like the effort of Millen, where a lot of quarterbacks there would have slid and not tried to get hit. He goes all out and trying to get the first down, but he is short.
Danny Villa is the snapper. Another good snap. Another good kick, this time by McCarthy. Johnson takes it at the 24. Last time he had a fair catch and they booed him. This time he has a return. And Eugene Lockhart makes the tackle. The cheer is for the return. Back in a moment. 6:53 time remaining. We're in the first half at Mile High Stadium. It is Denver 10, New England nothing. Elway to Vance Johnson, a 21-yard touchdown. Treadwell with a 20-yard field goal. For Denver, this is their 28th offensive play of the first half. The Patriots with 15. That's the first down. Singleton makes the stop. That is his third reception, and he'll pick up about 16 on the play.
Evidently, that elbow's not bothering him too much, and once again, it's just a quick route. He takes 3 steps, comes back, and they want to... A nice job there by Reggie Johnson, the tight end, to come out and nail that cornerback, enabling Russell to get the extra yardage.
Third reception, 37 yards for Russell, and if you were with us earlier, he was really racked up earlier in the ball.
It looked like he was in a lot of pain.
Greg Lewis, 39-yard line of New England, back-to-back first downs for Denver. Fred Marion with the tackle. The standings in the AFC West, even though the Raiders and Denver are tied at 8-4 record, the Raiders defeating Denver twice, so they have the edge there. Kansas City, Seattle, and San Diego. And next week, a doubleheader here on NBC. Denver, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Houston, Indianapolis, New England. The second half of the doubleheader, Buffalo against the Raiders. That's all next Sunday here on NBC. On the draw, Greg Lewis. 36 yards. Second down and 7.
Interesting here, Gaston Green not in this particular series.
We really haven't seen that much of Gaston Green. I thought we would have seen more of him by now.
Well, certainly, considering the fact that he's third in the AFC in rushing, 839 yards coming into this game. And interestingly enough, Charlie, had he not missed those 3 games with injuries at the rate that he was going, he could be leading the AFC in rushing. Right now, he's a spectator.
7 carries for only 2 yards for Gaston Green.
Well, that one big loss didn't help.
Elway's pass is complete.
Pretty nice catch there by Clarence Kay, who's not exactly known as an all-state guy, i.e. great hands. He scoops this one off the ground. Elway throws a bullet. Take a look at Kay getting underneath it. Nice catch there by number 88. Known more for his blocking provisions. A little body English by Elway. Disappointed himself he didn't have it up, but it's a completion nonetheless.
First down at the 28-yard line, and Gaston Green is now back in the lineup. Officials are stopping the clock. I suspect they're going to review that last reception.
Well, that ball was a good foot and a half off the ground. You want to take another look at it? Here it comes. Ball clearly, or maybe it doesn't. Shows how much I know.
And he ruled it complete. And a first down. And here is Green. Head fake outside, comes back inside. He's going to may have a yard. Elway has completed 10 of 15, 118 yards. One touchdown, no interception.
Doesn't look like he is in any pain at all. I guess this goes to show when he's the most famous man in the Rocky Mountains. Any sort of injury comes up, right? I mean, just magnified. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The guy had a hangnail on something. You know, they'd be all over his manicurist with interviews.
Second and 9. Wide open is Ricky Natil. Somebody missed their coverage for New England. Harry Colin finally got him, but he was all alone.
Well, what happens here is that they're too dependent upon their front four for a pass rush. And when they backpedal into the zone, John Elway can pick that apart. You can see Andre Tippett not getting off it. It's a zone coverage. And Natil wide open underneath for the first down. The Patriots here, it's easy right there to blame it on the defensive back, but the Patriots have to generate more of a pass rush to make Elway not get his feet set and have the time that he wants to throw.
Greg Lewis is the remaining back. It's a first down at the 15-yard line of New England. Natil goes in motion. Lewis is the ball carrier. And he's going to get 2, maybe 3 yards to the 12-yard line. It'll be second down and 7 as Marion Hobby makes the tackle.
One of the things that the Broncos are doing here that's effective, you can see that Ken Lanier, well, he's able to get up.
That's Clarence Kay, yeah.
Looked like he was holding his right knee.
So we'll take an injury timeout with 2:51 left to go in the first half. We'll be back in a moment.
Far right of your screen, you can watch number 88. Watch as he comes off of the block here and watch his right leg. The entire pile is going to fall on his right leg. He's off balance. Now watch what happens. Everybody falling in here. Oh, that's painful.
Be sure to stay with us for halftime. The Domino Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Bob Costas and friends. They'll be updating all the scores and highlights from around the National Football League today.
Hey, you got to give a lot of credit to that man who has had some off-season problems, off-field problems rather, problems with the law, and some domestic issues, but he continues to come in and year out and perform for the Denver Broncos. And that, you don't like to see the way he's limping off the field. By the expression on his face, he knows that that's a lot of pain. A lot of bodies falling on top of that right leg.
And the Broncos with Warren Powers injured, Mike Kroll, and then of course last week on this play they lost Mark Jackson for the rest of the season. Right there. Oh,
that was a hit by Eugene Robinson right there.
Injured with a big bruise on his chest and a fractured wrist, I believe the official.
We should make the point here too about Clarence Kay. He has been vital to the success of the Denver Broncos running game over the last couple of years. A very key cog up front.
Second down and 7. Elway to throw. Has good protection today. Lots of time. Vance Johnson, 3-yard line.
Charlie, once again, it's the same situation. You're inside the 20, and so you backpedal your defensive backs in the end zone. Watch the zone coverage right in the middle. Nobody has a man. They're just backpedaling. There's Vance Johnson cutting across. No one goes with him. Look at how far back the people are. He's able to lower his shoulder and get there now down almost to the 2-yard line, and they'll let it run out for the 2-minute warning. But even though you might not have the best defensive backs in the world, at a certain point you got to go man for man, or Denver's going to continue to cut up the New England secondary.
Down goal to go 3-yard line.
There's a beleaguered man right now. He can't seem to pull the right switches where the defense is concerned. He goes back into his zone coverage. They throw short underneath.
You don't like the zone coverage?
Well, certainly not inside the 20 when you've got a runner like Elway who can do the things that he can do. I mean, they're cutting him up with short passes.
Sewell is in motion. A little play action fake. Elway again with all the time in the world. And almost intercepted. The flag is down. Elway waited way too long. He's got to make a decision sooner than that. It'll be holding against the Broncos.
Oh, that would have been fun if Garen Veras could have come up with that one. We got a chance to talk with him yesterday. Very interesting fellow from Stanford. John Elway, the play action fake. I actually like that play because predictably you just pile into the line.
Holding, number 67 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Doug Weidel.
Garen Veras, you can see, was in on the pass rush, and John Elway at the last minute had plenty of time, but it was only a two-man pattern. You had Sewell and the tight end Johnson out. Now right here at the last minute, he takes the shot from Vincent Brown. The ball pops straight in the air. Now let's see what Veras, he backpedals. This is, he stretches out, not quite. Nice effort, though, by number 9. He actually showed a little athleticism there for a defensive line. I like that.
12-yard line. First down goal to go. Now here's Greg Lewis. Lewis is hit. 67 yards on the drive.
But Charlie, I looked for a minute there like the New England defense is going to get a bit of a reprieve. And the left side of the line does a nice job opening the hole, but this is poor tackling right there. First, Johnny Rembert misses him, and then Hurst misses him, and then Marion misses him, and he's able to go in standing up. That's not a good job of tackling by the New England secondary at all.
And the extra point is good. Denver 17, New England nothing. 1:47 time remaining in the first half. And part of the celebration here when the Broncos score the touchdown, their mascot Sunstar with Christine Padilla comes out to help the celebration. Sunstar is a 14-year-old Appaloosa horse. And Christine, a 21-year-old senior at Colorado State, is the owner rider.
I know that you're well versed in equine knowledge. How does it take for a horse to be able to do that sort of backpedaling, raising up like that?
Come on. Yeah, I used to wrangle outside of Westwood Park in the summer.
You could do that?
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Multi-talent.
Well, I knew that. I just didn't know it included horses.
Oh, sure. Here's the kickoff. John Vaughn at the 5-yard line. 15 and is set to 17. Charles Demery gets it. Let's check the NBC 10-minute ticker. The late scores at all field goals. Kansas City leading Seattle 9-3. Still Washington 7, Rams 6. San Francisco now leading New Orleans by a score of 14-7. Phil Simms has thrown 2 touchdown passes for the Giants. They're ahead of Cincinnati 14-7. And here at Mile High Stadium, it is Denver 17 and New England nothing, with 1:42 left to go in the first half. 3 wide receivers. Millen from the shotgun. And it is incomplete. He's going to Marv Cook, his tight end, and Brooks picked him up.
You can't quite see his face, but behind the man in the black hat there, that's Bobby Humphrey, 2-time 1,000-yard rusher for the Broncos over the last 2 seasons. It appears that at this point, the way Greg Lewis and Gaston Green are running, that he is expendable, and I'm sure the organization is second-guessing themselves about trading him when his value was high earlier in the season to the San Francisco 49ers.
Millen's pass complete to McMurtry.
Hugh Millen has done a nice job over the last couple of games running the 2-minute offense. In fact, I think that's probably where he's been the most effective.
So with 4 wide receivers, when we talked with him last night, like all quarterbacks, they smile at that kind of an offense. They like to run it because they know, particularly in that kind of offense, he'll be throwing a lot. This time to his tight end, Marv Cook, who leads all NFL tight ends in receivers.
Interesting, we haven't been able to call his name earlier. The Denver Broncos, with both Randy Robbins and Dennis Smith, have done a nice job of covering him up to this point. As you mentioned, 64 catches heading into this game.
First down, New England. Millen goes deep, but Pryor cannot get there. Irving reaches out for it, couldn't pull it back in.
Well, they had a good pass rush on him. As we mentioned at the outset, the Denver Broncos lead the AFC in sacks, and they get right to Hugh He has to let it go here, running right past Braxton. There you can see laying out, almost gets a hold of it. That would have been a big gain for New England. Take a look at the shot that Hugh Millen takes here. Right at the last, he juggles the ball a little bit. Bang!
Jeff Mills.
Coming in there, Jeff Mills in the pass rush, the man replacing Mike Kroll for the Broncos. Exactly auspicious numbers.
26 yards in the first half. Second and 10. Sideline pass. Yes, he has it. That Fryer that caught it along the near sideline, he does, and he goes out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. We have 43 seconds time remaining first half. We'll take another look.
Had an interesting talk with Irving Fryer last night, somebody who has completely turned his life around. He has been a conversion of the Pentecostal faith, and as a result, he feels that he is much more focused on family and friends and life in general.
Dropped off to John Stevens. Stevens is airborne, comes down at the 46-yard line, and New England will stop the clock with a timeout. 34 seconds left to go in the first half, and the first really offensive movement that they've had.
But, you know, that man right there, John Stevens, is somebody who is, you know, a potential star. Look at that, his rookie season, how many yards he had. Over 1,000 yards, and he made the Pro Bowl. And since that time, things have gone down. You can see right there in 1991 what he has done, only 140 yards. And he, too, like his cohort across the way, I'm talking about Bobby Humphrey, is more than likely trade bait. You know, when we pressed Sam Jankovic about it yesterday, I said, is there a possibility that he's going to be gone? And, you know, he doesn't want to say anything. You know, you saw that face and that look like, well, you know, everything's possible. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things in the mix of the whole team concept that, you know, that has to be given strong consideration. The same thing with Bobby Humphrey.
Well, certainly, you know, you have 2 first-round picks, guys that have been productive in the past, 1,000-yard rushers, and when you look around the league, there's certainly a lot of teams that could use those kind of guys. And one thing that impressed me about Sam Jankovic and Coach McPherson is the fact that they are both very much committed to making this team better. They're not going through the motions.
Second and 2, the ball at the 46-yard line. Langton. Dick McPherson, the head coach of the New England Patriots, their record is 4-8.
Ball stop prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty.
I like this man. I really enjoyed visiting with him. I think he'd be fun to play for.
Well, you know what? He's so upbeat. I mean, he's like, I made the description to you. I said, the man's like penicillin. You know, he makes you feel good when he's in the room. I mean, he really does.
Oh, yeah.
And oftentimes, you know, when you have people like this that are so upbeat in this day and age of technology where everybody's a positive thinking, you think so much of that, you get jaded by that. But this man's a genuine article, day in and day out.
He's just having fun. He said, I'm having the time of my life. Dropped off to Stevens. As the first down goes to the 40-yard line. Clock moving 24 seconds. Now they'll take the timeout. They stop it at 21 seconds. So they lost a valuable 3 or 4 seconds. Now Millen and the clock became a story the last time these two teams met. Denver against the Patriots in Foxborough into the ball game. A field goal will take it into a field goal that's successful will take it into overtime. They had used their last time out. Millen was to throw. He had 4 wide receivers, saw an opening up the middle. He ran for it, did not make it. We asked you about it last night.
Well, his instincts just took over here. He knows that he's going to run out of time, you know, but he admitted to the fact that he doesn't appreciate how fast these guys can close. And right there, he should have just thrown the ball out of the end zone, kicked the field goal, taking their chances in overtime. But right there, that was, and his words to us were, that was an egregious mistake.
That's a direct quote.
Yeah, that's what he said. An egregious mistake.
I had to ask Todd what it meant. First down. Fryer. Almost pulled in the miracle reception.
Never mind the fact that that might have been a miracle reception. Let me tell you the kind of courage it takes to stretch out in the middle of the zone like that and try to come up with that catch. Look at the number of orange shirts that are going to be around Irving Fryer, and look at him exposing his ribs. Yikes! That takes some courage to do that, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. I got 5 broken ribs to prove.
6 of 14, 58 yards. His stats on Millen. 1 interception. He's been sacked 3 times.
But as we pointed out, half of those completions have come during the 2-minute drill right here. And as we say, he mentioned us yesterday, one of the reasons you become more focused and you know that every down you're throwing, that has something to do with it.
Maybe they open up the second half with a 2-minute drill. Millen scrambles, throws, and it's way wide. He was simply out of time. Timpson, the closest possible receiver. He was out of time, stopping the clock now with 10 seconds left in the first half. Trailing 17-0.
All right.
3rd down.
Well, the Broncos in with 6 defensive backs. They're not going to take any chances here. They're willing to concede something underneath of the 5 to 10 yard variety. But when you're trying to get downfield and get into field goal range for Bauman, who doesn't quite have the 50-yard range, the Broncos are aware of that, and they're not going to let that happen if they can help it.
Timpson goes wide to the far side, Pryor to the near side. Pushes in the slot back. 3rd down. Millen has pressure, drops it off to Stevens. He needs to get out of bounds. He does. Stops the clock with 4 seconds. Chance for one more play. 4 seconds left to go in the first half. Broncos up 17-0.
Once again, frustrated by the downfield coverage of the Broncos. Even with the 3- and 4-man rushes that the Broncos are putting on, they're still putting pressure on Millen, who's having to shuffle his feet and do some things he doesn't want to do back there. Give this man credit. He's doing a nice job of calling the coverages and the rushes for the Broncos. It seems like he has blitzed or gone into zone at exactly the right time.
Wade Phillips, defensive coordinator for Denver. 4th down, 4 seconds left first half. Up for grabs in the end zone. And it is intercepted for a touchback as time runs out. Dennis Smith with his 2nd interception of the ballgame.
And boy, do those defensive backs love these cheap statistics. There it is. 2nd of the day for Smith.
17-0 Denver. Let's go to New York. Bob Costas. Welcome back to Mile High Stadium. Denver leading as we start the second half, 17-0. Treadwell kicking off with Allen and Vaughn, the return man. Again, it's short, taken at the 15-yard line. And here is John Vaughn on the return, looking for blockers on a left return. Gets just a couple, and that's going to be it. He will start from around the 23 or the 24-yard line. The statistics. High Stadium, Denver leading as we start the second half, 17-0. Treadwell kicking off with Allen and Vaughn, the return man. Again, it's short, taken at the 15-yard line. And here is John Vaughn on the return, looking for blockers on a left return. Gets just a couple, and that's going to be it. He will start from around the 23 or the 24-yard line. The statistics. Coors Light statistics in the first half.
Well, certainly dominated by the Broncos. The big statistic, I think, is the passing yards. Elway with the so-called bad shoulder going 12 for 17 for 140 yards and a touchdown. And the time of possession, you can see almost 2-1 in favor of the Broncos. Sometimes you think that's an overrated statistic, but in this case it isn't, because New England has been unable to generate anything offensively. Take a look at the motion of Elway. Like somebody who's having a problem.
Not on that pass. That was his touchdown pass.
That was a touchdown of Vance Johnson. Nice throw to the corner route.
Millen comes out throwing. He hits Pryor. Pryor turns it up. Has one man to beat. Can't do it. Atwater saves the touchdown.
Good start for Hugh Millen. That was a good motion, Hugh. We liked it, and so did Irving Pryor. The quick route, down a little hook at 10 yards. Got him playing off. Now watch the move right there. He 360s. 2 guys go down. Now he's got 1 guy to beat. Now this is one of the best open field tacklers in the league right there, Steve Atwater. Look at the strength. 6'4", 270 pounds with that left arm, able to bring down Irving Pryor.
32 yards for Pryor on that reception, opening the second half. Denver is offside. Kenny Walker.
Now we know.
Encroachment, number 96 on the defense prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty.
He was not drawn off by the quarterback, Kate.
One of the other things, too, is we've mentioned, you know, Kenny Walker being the only deaf player in the National Football League. In fact, the only one in the last 18 years. A lot of times you got to go by instincts. In that case, his instincts betrayed him.
1st and 5.
What a nice man he is, though. Huh?
He is. He's special. He's one of those few men that light up a room when he comes in. Russell slides to the outside. Will be close to the 1st down. Let's see where they mark him out. Near the 32-yard line. Again, it was Atwater. McMurtry with a key block downfield.
This is an interesting cut. Now, those of you who are real football aficionados, remember the style of Dwayne Thomas, how he used to glide. Look at the stiff arm right there. Doesn't look like he's running that hard, but watch as he slides and glides and goes to the outside. Stiff arming big, tough people there.
He is sliding and gliding, a man that is 6'2", 235.
Well, but then Dwayne Thomas was about 6'1", 220. He reminds me a little bit of him, except for he's a little bit more talkative.
1st down at the 32. Millen looks right, comes back left, and misses. He was coming back to McMurtry, and he simply missed him low and wide.
One thing that bodes well for the Patriots here in this initial drive is that unlike the first half, the offensive linemen must have gotten together and decided that they're going to be a little bit more committed. A lot more time has been afforded Millen this drive than has been in the first half.
I really thought it might be a possibility they would come out with a no-huddle offense in the second half because they were so effective with their 2-minute offense.
Well, you know, that's exactly right. They have it, but they are only down 17-0, so they don't really feel a need to panic.
Play action fake. Incomplete. Russell, the intended receiver, is going to be 3rd down and 10.
Probably the most integral part of the offensive line for the New England Patriots have been their bookend offensive tackles, Pat Harlow and Bruce Armstrong. Now, that's an interesting graphic there at the bottom. First rookies to start every game right off the bat since a pretty fair guard there by the name of John Hanna, 9-time Pro Bowler going into the Hall of Fame. In fact, I was reading in the paper today that Dan Reeves was actually quite envious. Those are 2 people that he'd very much like to have on his team. We had a chance to talk with Pat Harlow yesterday, and we'll give you a little bit of that conversation later if we can.
3rd down and 10. 4 wide receivers for the Patriots. Cook, the tight end, moves out. It is there. Pass is complete. It is McMurtry who pulls it in. 3rd down conversion. 1st down for New England. Opening drive of the second half. Smith with the tackle.
Nice catch here by McMurtry. This is a seam route trying to get between the safety and the cornerback, and Millen drills it in, but he has to reach back for the catch. He knows he's going to get hammered here by Dennis Smith, but he holds on to the ball. Take a look at the front. Take a look at the left tackle here, Harvey Armstrong. Let me tell you how impressed I am with him. Armstrong, last year, the team 1-15, he goes to the Pro Bowl. That says something about the quality of that man's play.
Gain of 17, 1st down. Russell slides back to the inside. He'll go to the 7-yard line.
And running over Armstrong again. I'm sorry, it's not Harvey Armstrong. Rather, I meant Bruce Armstrong, left tackle number 78 for the New England Patriots. And at 9 yards on 1st down is showing that he's moving some people off.
Hurts 10-minute ticker. Kansas City in front of Seattle in the 3rd quarter. Redskins up 14-6 over the Rams. San Francisco now leading New Orleans in the 3rd. Giants by 7 over Cincinnati. The 3rd. Bengals staying close. Here the Broncos lead 17-0, and the Patriots threatening. Russell cut off inside, nice spin. Does not fool Kenny Walker. Good defensive play.
we get overly excited about him, I realize, but
like
that was a nice tackle.
Yeah.
The 360 by Leonard Russell didn't fool Kenny, and he's able to pull him down. On the right of your screen, you're just going to see 96 now pushing upfield. Now the cutback. Now watch, he's going to 360. But look at the big, strong left arm of Kenny. You know, it's interesting. When he walked into the room, we saw him. I mean, he filled the doorway.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times when you think of handicapped people, you think of spindly people. No, this man is a stallion. He's an Adonis.
NBC had a great feature on him at Thanksgiving Day game. Hope that many of you had a chance to see it. Russell to the 6-yard line. And it's going to be 4th down. Reagan with the stop.
You know what?
I throw for it. You go for it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm with you on that point. But that was such a slow developing play. You know, they had 3rd and 1. Why not the dive? Go with the split backs. Get it going up front. Oh, no. No.
Field goal team coming in.
I don't want to sound like too much of a complainer, but the way that was so slow in developing, it enabled the linebackers for the Broncos to fill the gaps, and now you have to settle for a field goal. And I think that's a little bit disappointing.
From the 13, an attempt at 23. It's not a fake. It is up. It is good. Tim Goad was the snapper. They've had a problem there. They're on the scoreboard, 17-3.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Honda, who puts a driver's airbag on every new Accord, Civic, and Prelude, and urges you to buckle up. By Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. And by Hertz, we never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz. We're America's wheels.
It is absolutely spectacular here in the Rocky Mountains. Early snow this year, and the skiers have been out in force.
Hey, man, you just had a shot of my backyard there in Alpine, Utah. Gotta love it.
Kick will be taken by Montgomery at the 10 to the 20 and dropped around the 26-yard line.
You see Coach McPherson here is having some problems. Not since 1968 have the New England Patriots won here in Denver, and ironically enough, that man right there was an assistant coach for the Denver Broncos the last time the Patriots won. Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
And their name was Boston.
Thank you.
That's right.
I wanted to ask you something. What do you think of him as Coach of the Year?
I think it'd be a great. I like it. I really do. I think he's probably done more with what he has in the situation than any other coach. I think he'd be an excellent coach of the year. First down Denver from their own 26-yard line. They open on the ground with Greg Lewis.
The reason I asked that, of course, is on the other side of the ball. You have Dan Reeves and a team that went 5-11 last year. You know, at this point, certainly would be considered if his team tied with the Raiders atop the AFC West. But I agree with you earlier. I think he had more to work with. I think last year was an aberration. And part of the organization of the New England Patriots was last year versus this year. I think in a lot of cases you have to throw the record out a little bit and see it for what it is. I mean, the spirit and everything else that's been encouraged there. I agree with you. I like what he's done.
Elway to throw. As underneath is complete. And it's Michael Young with the first down.
The operative word, Charlie, there was "had time." Michael Young cuts across the field. A simple crossing route, gets by everybody, and Elway had plenty of time to look around. There at the beginning, you could see that his man covering him, David Poole, lost him early on, and Young was able to escape. And because of the time that Elway had, he was able to find him.
And a first down at the 40-yard line. 8:56 and counting. Time remaining in the third quarter. Clarence Kay, he was helped off of the field in the first half. Glad to see him back. Obviously, he is all right.
You know, it always amazes me, the resilience of these people. I mean, it looked to me like 6 bodies fell on top of his right leg.
6 bodies did fall on top of his right.
But I mean, you know, you're thinking to yourself, what is that? That's got to be like 1,500 pounds worth of flesh on that one medial collateral ligament. You think the thing has to snap. Thank goodness for that Cymex machine and everything else they have. I'm glad he's back. That's great. That's good news.
The rookie from Washington.
Once again, right play at the right time. New England Patriots come with an inside blitz. Watch there the top of your screen. Watch 55 and 59 coming. Well, when they're out of the play, there's less people in the secondary, and Lewis is able to pick his way because there's fewer people to go after him. And as a result, the Broncos get the first down.
And the rookie from Florida State, Reggie Johnson, with a key block. Ball at the 49-yard line of New England.
When they drafted him, in the press guy, they made a point to say that they felt like he was the best blocking tight end coming out of college, and that's the reason why they took him as high as they did in the second round.
Lewis to the 44-yard line. He has 5. It'll be second down and 5. A program note on NFL Live. next Sunday, OJ is going to discuss the best running backs in the National Football League. Would it be Barry Sanders or could it be Thurman Thomas? That's all NFL Live next Sunday before Denver, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Houston. Pittsburgh, Houston, that's the big one. We'll be there.
Huge game.
And huge game. Indianapolis at New England. And the second half, most of you to see Buffalo against the Raiders.
Okay, after this play, I want you to tell me who is the best, Thurman or Barry Sanders. Don't say now. Let's let the play go.
Okay. Pass is complete to Michael Young. First down, 30-yard line. His fourth reception of the ball game.
Nice timing pattern there by John Elway, who takes the 5-step drop. Michael Young with the out route right on the money. Take a look at Elway. 2, 3, 4, 5. Plants, sets, already into his cut. And as a result, Ronnie Lepet, who actually wasn't that bad at coverage, never had a chance. Elway with a 5-step. Look at that. Where are the white shirts close to him? The closest is Andre Tippin. He's 2 yards away.
Closest was the referee. Russell couldn't hang on to it. I think he may have got excited about where the sideline was.
Well, even if he'd have caught it, he'd have been out of bounds. You can see this is a rookie mistake right here. Now watch his feet come up. Even if he comes up with the ball, he's not gonna have it.
And Elway's reaction.
He's got a lot to smile about. If his shoulder's feeling good, if he has his health, he has everything. Okay.
Elway, 15 to 21, 167 yards and a touchdown.
All right. We've done 2 plays now. Who's your pick? Best running back in the NFL.
Very simple. I will explain after this play.
Okay.
Second down. Elway goes. He's down. And he's going to the 15-yard line. First down, Denver. A drive that started back at the 26-yard line.
Well, again, it's the same thing. Elway just having way too much time in the swirl route where he goes in and goes out again. Enables Michael Young to come up with his 5th catch. Okay.
And Michael Young having a career year in receptions and yardage.
Plan B acquisition from the Los Angeles Rams. From Visalia, California. Played some softball against him. Pretty good player.
First down, 15-yard line. Green is set.
Okay, now why? Why Barry Sanders?
Because the question is the best running back. I think the best pure running back in the National Football League is Barry Sanders. Now, the best back can running and receiving and can do other things and is a threat in other areas, I think, would be Thurman Thomas. But I think as a pure running back, it's Sanders. If you watch them side by side, I think you'd pick it automatically.
Do you ever wonder what he might be like if he was in a running offense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
The reason
he's a delight to watch.
Of course, the reason I questioned you was last week, we both said that the MVP of the league is Thurman Thomas.
Well, but that's different. That's a different question. Elway scrambles to the 26-yard line. I tell you, he is the great competitor. You gotta love him.
Well, around the league, we always argue about quarterbacks as being great athletes. From the old days, you have guys that, were just pretty much stand-up guys in the pocket. This is one of the great athletes in the National Football League. Watch as he avoids Vincent Brown. Vincent Brown, 59, has the beat on him, dives to make the catch. Look at that. Stiff arms, able to maintain his balance, lunges forward, gets it to the 6-yard line. John Elway showing a lot of athleticism.
They're down and short. And here is Lewis cut down. Good defensive play.
Okay, I won't say salt and smash, but I will say Vincent Brown does a nice job of knifing in there. Big hit, forcing the field goal. Watch from the top of your screen. Watch number 59 cut right into the hole. Get right past the lead blocker. Perryman should have picked him up. Brown cuts back and knocks him backwards. That's what's impressive. I remember Tim Goad, the nose tackle, was talking about Vincent Brown. He says, when he hits and makes tackles, he says, it sounds like thunder. You can add 6 or 7 tackles to that today for Vincent Brown, who's gone over the century mark for the first time in his short career.
24-yard attempt. Kubiak holds. Dave Weidel is the snapper. And Treadwell adds 3 more. Denver 20-3. The question this morning was whether or not John Elway would be able to play today because of that tendonitis in his right shoulder. The numbers give you the answer. 20-3, he has played and played exceptionally well. The kickoff again is high and short. Vaughn moves under, takes it at the 15-yard line. Still bouncing around. And it's finally stopped on the 26-yard line. One time in the bounces, he was up about the 28. Reggie Rivers got him, the rookie free agent.
Now they might consider, as you mentioned earlier, the 2-minute offense.
Not before we step aside. We'll be back in just a moment. Three minutes and 11 seconds. Time remaining in the third quarter. Denver 20, New England 3. This is Charlie Jones. Todd Christensen. The Patriots with the ball at their 29-yard line. Time of possession in the ball game.
Well, that certainly is one of the reasons why the count is 20-3 at this point. Denver has had far more offensive plays than the New England Patriots.
Hugh Millen goes deep, and it is caught, pulled down by Marv Cook, the tight end. Inside the 40-yard line of Denver, and Jeff Mills finally stops him at the 38.
What a nice throw by Millen. As we mentioned at the outset, Cook, the leading receiver for tight ends in the National Football League, a post route with the linebacker trailing him. Nice job of reaching up there and catching the ball in your hands. And believe me, when the weather is in the teens, that is not an easy catch. And I'm impressed by the fact that, take a look at Marv Cook's hands if we can get a shot at him. One of the few receivers left in the National Football League that doesn't wear the tack-a-fi gloves. I like that.
Gain of 33, first down at the Denver 38-yard line. Play action fake, gets a block, has time, now he's pressed. Rolls, looks, throws, has a man, it's Fryer, he's got it, out of bounds, 13-yard line. Good play, Atwater with the tackle.
I like how resourceful Hugh Millen has been. You know, even as a backup quarterback with the Rams and the Falcons, nobody ever said anything about this guy being mobile. But you can see this is designed to go to the other side of the field. He looks left, there's nobody there. And once again, Fryer does an outstanding job of running towards him, throwing on the run. He puts it right on the money to number 80. Atwater comes up and makes the stop, but not until they're inside the 15-yard line.
The potent pair, the connection, Fryer and Millen. This was coming into the game. 47 passes, 709 yards, 3 touchdowns to Fryer since earning the starting job 9 weeks ago.
One of the reasons for that, of course, is Irving told us yesterday he sent Hugh a birthday card this week. Maybe that's why he's throwing the ball to it.
Play action fake, rolls, pressure, steps away, throws, Cook pulls it down, 9-yard line. They say 4 yards on the play.
Once again, a nice job by Hugh Millen to escape the rush. I mean, Cragen had him dead to rights, sidesteps him and makes the play to Cook. Watch in the middle of your screen, you're going to see, Simon Fletcher has him. Oh, that's it. He's got to be sacked. Shrugs him off. Of course, that's an advantage when you're 6'5" and you weigh 220 pounds.
Braxton stops him at the 9-yard line. It is second down and 6. The ball at the 9. Second back is Russell. 9-yard line. Ball popped loose. Denver comes up with it. And Denver has the ball. Dennis Smith, who has 2 interceptions, now has the key fumble recovery. Mecklenburg made the play.
Well, that face by McPherson said it all. How frustrating. Good drive coming down the field. Russell cutting back up inside. Cragen comes across. With the left hand, you can see he's able to strip the ball, and the ball is out before he's down. Everybody stands there like it's not there, but Smith alertly picks it up, and it's going to be Bronco ball when we come back.
The reaction of Dick McPherson, the head coach of the Patriots. Now this is challenging his defense to get in and not to lose their enthusiasm.
It doesn't look like Mac's going to lose his enthusiasm.
No, he never does. He never does. Lewis carries. Close to the 20-yard line. It'll be second down. As we check in with the Hertz 10-minute ticker, Kansas City comfortably in front of Seattle in the 4th. Washington comfortably in front of the Rams in the 3rd. 49ers Still leading New Orleans by 7 in the third. Giants by 7 over Cincinnati as the Bengals stay close in the third. And here as we're coming to the closing moments of the third, Denver out in front of New England by a score of 20-3. Gaston Green.
I tell you, it hasn't been his best day at all.
Really?
His numbers, he's going to have like about 10 yards.
Not a lot because of that big loss that they had on the reversion and all of that. As we take the countdown to the end of the third, Denver 20, New England 3, back after these messages from your local. 20 degrees at kickoff here, and no wind at all, so we didn't have wind chill factor, but now in the second half it dropped down to about 16, 17 degrees, and is going to continue going.
Hey, I don't want to hear any complaints because I played in 2 of the 5 coldest games. I played the game in Cleveland. It was 0 degrees at game time, a wind chill of -27. And in the Buffalo book, you can see their coldest games, 1988, 8 degrees. I was a member of the Los Angeles Raiders for that one.
Did you use the cayenne pepper to keep you warm?
I'd have tried anything.
Elway comes out firing, and he hits Vance Johnson. And it's a first down for the Broncos as we open the fourth quarter. And Vance Johnson told us, he expected to have a big game, and he certainly has picked up the slack for the Denver Broncos as far as their wide receivers are concerned now that Mark Jackson is out.
Well, again, here's somebody that this year has not been as productive for Vance Johnson as we elucidated earlier. He has had some problems, but again, John Elway's the first to say he has been my go-to guy over the last 5-6 years, the former 60-meter champion from Arizona.
Elway fires. This one is incomplete. A score that is just in. New Orleans 17, San Francisco 17. That game is tied with 3:44 left to go in the third. Just an update on that one.
Well, that's interesting. New Orleans looked like a real juggernaut there. What were they, 7-0 or 8-0?
Oh, that was a great start. Yeah.
Now they've lost 3 of their last 4, and that could actually make that NFC West interesting if San Francisco were to win. That would put them only 2 games behind New Orleans with 3 to play.
Second and 10, the ball at the 31-yard line. Elway goes down to the 25, so he's going to lose 6 on the play.
If we get a chance,
that will go as a sack for Hobby. That is the first time that he has been sacked in the ballgame, and we mention that because in the last 2 games, Elway has been sacked a total of 11 times. That's not I don't consider that a pure sack. That's a statistical sack.
But if we get a chance to look at that again, I thought it was very cute. Take a look at the record here when Elway gets sacked. You mentioned that the last 2 weeks when they've had problems. 4+, you said 11 in 2 weeks. They weren't very successful in those games. When he gets sacked more than 4 times, his record is less than 500.
And Barry Hawkins came up with that statistic for us. That's a good one. 3rd and 16, 4 wide receivers. Flag is down. Elway airs this one out. It is the pass is complete, but a holding call is going to bring it back. Barry Johnson, the rookie free agent for Maryland, and it's not going to count. But what happens now when they look at this on the tape next week? Well, everybody knows they're going to bring it back.
I tell you what, Barry Johnson is going to say, Kenny Lanier, I know you've been a veteran all these years, but please, couldn't I have had this one catch?
The face mask, yeah.
Marion Hobbies, we mentioned before, had the sack of Elway. He was coming upfield, and Kenny Lanier just took a hold of his face mask.
Well, illegal use of hands, number 74 on the offense, grabbing the face mask. 10-yard penalty.
I'm sorry, from my vantage point, it looked like Lanier, but instead it was Harvey Salem. Interestingly enough, Harvey Salem, the left tackle there for the Denver Broncos, comes in on passing downs to replace Jeff Davidson.
All right, what's the catch? What's the catch?
There you go.
Why did it go? Look. He had to battle up. Concentration. Good. I like that.
Wait a minute. He battled and pushed off.
Well,
look at him push Hurst to the back to get away. Now, wait. Here's an interesting... I keep bringing this up, but you know what? If that's a defensive player going the other direction, jumping over like that and trying to make a catch, that's interference all the way. But an offense, it doesn't count.
3rd 26, the middle screen to Sewell. Sewell is across the 30 to 35. He is going to come up about 5 yards short of the first down. It was 3rd and 26, and he got 21 yards on the play, and that means that Mike Horan will come in to kick it away.
The local media have been very critical of the Denver Broncos for not using number 30 enough. He has been somebody who has come up with clutch catches in the past as the third down back. Very versatile player from the University of Oklahoma. In fact, he has a career average per catch over 11 yards, which for a running back is outstanding.
Horan gets it on. Good pick. Henderson fair catch. Lets it back. It is going to be down.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Geo. Get to know Geo, available right around the corner at your Chevrolet Geo dealers. By RCA, changing entertainment again. By Visa, official card and traveler's check of the 1992 Olympic Games. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm.
Coin Hugh Millen's phrase, this is an egregious rookie mistake. Jerome Henderson, you don't let a fair catch go on the 20-yard line. This is what makes Mike Horan the happiest guy on the team right now. What a 62-yard punt can do for your average when a rookie lets it bounce 18 yards to get down on the 2-yard line.
Millen going from the end zone to Pryor, and it is incomplete. Millen now has completed 12 of 25. For 170 yards, and he has suffered 2 interceptions, both by Dennis Smith.
Fans oftentimes wonder why on the 2-yard line you would air it out like that. Well, obviously you have a long ways to go, and that's a given. But what it forces the defensive backs to do is that's that much more of the field that they have to cover. So if you can get the pass protection, the long fly ball, so to speak, is a good play to go.
98 yards to go. Pryor, by the way, 4 receptions and 81 yards. Russell to the 5-yard line. So he now has 45 yards rushing. No, that's incorrect. Let me double check his total. It'll be third down. 36 yards is the official call. 13 for 36.
Denver's done an effective job of taking him out of the game. He's been somewhat of a non-factor throughout. Except for the fact of the fumble, obviously, which I'm sure he wishes he could have back.
3rd and 7, the ball at the 5-yard line. Cook has it. First down. Big conversion, 3rd and 5. Or New England would have had to punt from their end zone, and the Broncos would have had excellent field position. Key play for the Patriots.
Left side of the line, you're going to see Marv Cook. If you've had 64 catches and you're the leading receiver as a tight end in the National Football League, you don't cover him with a single linebacker, and especially one who is a second stringer anyway, number 52, Jeff Mills. Marv Cook should be eating up that sort of coverage, and that's exactly what he did right there. As you can see, 68 catches, 64 coming into this game.
657 yards, updating his total. And a first down at the Patriot 24-yard line. Play action fake, quick screen outside. It is complete to John Vaughn, and Vaughn down the sideline before he's pushed out.
Pat Harlow, the rookie right tackle, made an outstanding block on the cornerback to spring John Vaughn. John Vaughn, the triple threat running back from Michigan. Take a look at the right tackle, 77. Now watch him take off. Now watch the block here as he comes out, pushes him just out of the way. Jeff Mills, again, not able to cover Vaughn, and Vaughn able to make a move on Dennis Smith and leave him in his wake. John Vaughn, I say triple threat, earlier in the season threw a halfback pass for a touchdown, as well as returned a kickoff for a touchdown, giving up his last 2 years of eligibility at Michigan so he could play for the Patriots.
Here's Russell. 47-yard line of Denver.
Getting back to Vaughn for just a second, I thought it was interesting when he was asked the question. He says, why did you give up your last 2 years of eligibility to come to the pros? He said, it's a very easy answer. He says, wait, I can make 6 figures and play football versus getting a college education, getting that college stipend and living in a dormitory? Not that tough of a decision.
For the Patriots, they're draftees of the year that are playing 2 in the first round, 2nd, 4th, 2 in the 5th, 8th round. Led by Harlow, who you saw, the right tackle, number 77. When we talked to him yesterday, he said, I dreamed of playing in the NFL, but I never was really sure that I could do it.
There's no doubt he can do it.
Millen drills this one. Good pass. 41-yard line. As he goes to Greg McMurtry.
Charlie, in fact, as you mentioned, Pat Harlow, the left side of the line broke down a little bit, but Harlow did an outstanding job of keeping Simon Fletcher out of the face of Hugh Millen so he could make that play. Watch if you can see number 77. Look at what he does with Fletcher. Now look, it breaks through the left. He comes to the right side, and Harlow just has Fletcher completely out of the way. I thought it was interesting his comment yesterday when he talked about whether or not he belonged. He said his first game, Chris Dolman is across from him. He says, oh my gosh, Chris Dolman. And then he thought about it. He says, screw it. He says, I can kick his butt.
To the end zone.
Flag down, though, Charlie. I think this is going to come back. I think Timpson got pushed. Terrific anticipation by Steve Atwater, which would have been the 3rd interception by the safeties for the Denver Broncos. But at the last minute, it appeared that Timpson got pushed, and so that's going to go against the Denver Broncos. It's certainly a call that man agrees with.
Flag dropped at the 31-yard line.
Pass interference on the defense. First down.
Timpson, the intended receiver.
Not able to tell you the number, but from the right of your screen, you're going to chance to see, I believe that's Jeff Mills. That's right, who hasn't exactly had a stellar series here. Gave up the reception to Marv Cook, the one to John Vaughn, and now gets the penalty that enables the Patriots to continue the drive and negate the touchdown for Atwater.
Simon Fletcher got it. 4th sack of the ball game for the Broncos. Running their total to 38 on the year.
They moved Simon Fletcher around in that case. They took him away from Harlow. Watch, he's going to come from the left of your screen. They actually have a double team on him, but John Vaughn at 5'9", 185 pounds, he's no match for Simon Fletcher. He's able to run right over the 21-year-old from Michigan.
And the Patriots with a no-huddle offense. 2nd down. And it is incomplete as he goes to Pryor. It'll be 3rd and 16.
Irving Fryer getting off the ball. That's good coverage right there. Nice coverage by Wyman Henderson. He knows it's a comeback route. Only a perfect throw would have gotten it there. It was just a little bit short. Give credit there to number 24 for the Broncos for good anticipation on Fryer's run.
219 yards. Slides away to the right. Now he's in more trouble. Little touch pass is complete to John Stevens. Boy, he bought a lot of time on that.
He really did. Again, I can't emphasize the fact that I've been very impressed with his resourcefulness. John Stevens makes the catch. Short of the first down, they're going to have to come up 4th and 6th and go for it, but Millen really made that play. And again, give credit to the right side of the offensive line for the New England Patriots. They did a nice job of keeping people out. They really should huddle here, though, because it's 4th down. This should not be an audible. Hughes should take the time to huddle up because of the importance of this play.
Incomplete. Going to McMurtry at the 5-yard line. Tyrone Braxton makes the play. Broncos hold. They take over on downs at the 26-yard line.
Earlier, that was a successful play. But, you know, when you have 4th and 6, you got to be looking at intermediate routes. Give credit for the Denver Broncos for being right there, and McPherson continues to be frustrated.
ABC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza when the game is over.
As we come back to Mile High Stadium, it is Denver 20, New England 3, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the ballgame. Elway has completed 18 of 25 for 215 yards and a touchdown. Lewis, the leading rusher, with 67 yards. Young, 5 receptions, 76 yards. Johnson, 3 for 42 of the score. First down, Denver, their own 26. They'll be content to give it to Gaston Green and to Greg Lewis. We'll take some time off of the clock, and let's check in with the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker and check all the scores. The early game, Buffalo defeating the Jets. Miami downing Tampa Bay. Cleveland shutting out Indianapolis. Atlanta by 4 over Green Bay. Kansas City in the fourth leading Seattle. And the Redskins now pulling away from the Rams in the fourth, 24-6. New Orleans in front of San Francisco, 24-17. Giants and Cincinnati tied in the fourth at 17. Here it is 20-3 Denver with 6:42 left to go.
Well, that's a surprise. It's Cincinnati, huh?
Yes, we were there last week, and they did not have a good outing against the Raiders. Lewis carries, Williams with the tackle. Dan Reeves, the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
It's a very impressive statistic. That defines a winner right there. 27 years as a player, coach from his rookie year in 1965 with the Dallas Cowboys until now. In those 27 years, he has played or coached in 14 conference championships. I mean, that's half your career in championship games. That is something.
And he has played or coached in, what, 8 Super Bowls?
That also is a record. As a player, as an assistant, and as a head coach.
Denver stops the clock. 5:53 left to go as they take a timeout. It's third down and 7 with the ball at their own 29-yard line. And the conference will come to the sideline. The conference will be held at the sideline as Elway comes over. And a program note on NBC tonight. We'll start it all with Erie, Indiana at the time of 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Followed by the ever-popular Torkelsons at 7:30. Hot Country Nights featuring Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers. That'll be good. It's at 8 o'clock. And then Fatal Friendship, Sunday night at the movies. Good reviews. 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That's all tonight here on NBC.
Charlie, I neglected to mention, as you can see, a drift to the cars in the parking lot.
A drift through the drift?
A drifted, yeah. Ooh, good. I
knew you'd like that.
God, I wish I'd have thought of that.
You probably will.
Buffalo's, yeah, that's right. There's 3 games left. Buffalo's victory over the Jets today clinched the AFC East for them. And as you noted, the New Orleans score over San Francisco, if they were to win today, they too would clinch their division.
All right, here's the sweep to the right side with Sewell. He's got the first down. He pops it 50-yard line. Just a grab of an ankle by Tony Zachary saves the touchdown.
As we mentioned earlier, when he had the middle screen, he has been somewhat of the forgotten man. Here it is, simply a power sweep out of the 4 wide receiver set, and certainly you had New England people backpedaling, anticipating the pass, and as you said, unless Zachary gets that ankle, the pride from San Francisco might have gone the distance.
A gain of 26 on a third down and 7. The ball now at the New England 45-yard line, first down Denver. And they will continue to work on the clock as we move on the 5-minute mark. Gaston Green, and he is pulled down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10. Next week, New England will host Indianapolis, and Denver will be at Cleveland. Cleveland defeating Indianapolis today, and in the process picked up 6 quarterback sacks.
You know, a lot of the argument, Charlie, over Denver's success this year, and some of it justifiable, is due to that 5th place schedule. That while the rest of the AFC West has had to play the likes of New Orleans and San Francisco and Atlanta, they've been playing the Phoenixes and the New Englands. But next week, as you mentioned, a 31-0 victory over the Colts, and Bill Belichick has them playing some very good football. That's certainly not going to be an easy game for the Broncos.
Here is Green. He's going to pick up about 3 yards. It's going to be third down and 7. Elway throwing for more than 200 yards. First time that he has thrown for more than 200 yards since the Kansas City game.
We mentioned that point about the records. Take a look at Elway's record against the AFC West. Touchdowns and interceptions. Of course, the touchdown ratio of interception is better against everybody else except that AFC West. And evidently, you know, when you play those people twice a year, they gear up for your particular brand of football. And right there you can see that Elway has struggled against the likes of the Chiefs and the Raiders.
20-3, Denver leading, 3.5 minutes left to go. The question that comes to mind, should Elway still be in there? Question before this morning was whether or not he would even play, if he would start, because of that tendonitis in the right shoulder.
He's going to be out of there now. They're going to punt.
Well, then maybe it's time to put him under wraps and send him inside and put some heat on the shoulder and do a little preventive medicine.
I agree. But you know, it's interesting how coaches are funny about things like that. They want that one team to play because that's what they prepare for, is that one quarterback.
We've got a timeout. We'll be back. We are back. 4th down, a punting situation. Moran just pops it straight up. Fair catch is called for and taken at the 13-yard line by Jerome Henderson. 3:13 left in the game. Millen back to throw. Cook pulls it down, and they will mark his progression because he is taken out of bounds behind the spot where he caught it, and that's the reason the clock will continue to move. New England operating again with a no-huddle offense.
Or maybe it's because they just wanted the clock to keep playing.
Incomplete. Pryor, the intended receiver. Camcorder replay of the game.
Well, 2 people they weren't sure were going to perform today. One was the man with a bad right shoulder, number 7, John Elway, with a nice flick to another man who has been a little bit underachieving coming into this game, but not today. Vance Johnson with the 21-yard corner route touchdown from John Elway. That is our Cannon camcorder replay of the game.
That was Todd's pick. The ball now at the 16-yard line. It is third down.
Oh, wow.
Millen throws. The reason that I mentioned that is while we were away, there was a great discussion held over the replay of the game. The final vote was 3-1.
Yeah, the final vote was dictated by the guy to my left.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Well, they dictated to the truck because they had it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. 4th down. Kicking team is in. Danny Villa will snap, but with all the problems they had in the kicking game last week, the Patriots have had good snaps throughout the afternoon.
Well, as someone who snapped for punts in my career, I know that the only way you get any notoriety is by having some bad ones. But Danny, you're right, he has done an excellent job today.
And another good one, and here is Johnson on the return. Vance will stutter step, no, picks up a block, turns the corner, he's to the 40 and then out of bounds. Jerome Henderson is the man who stopped him. And now the employee owners of Avis salute the game's MVP, the man that might not have started, John Elway, the winner of the We Try Harder Award, the official car, Avis, the official car rental company of the NFL. And it's quite an afternoon. I think I would have picked the replay of the game when he ran down to the 2-yard line. Elway's.
Okay, well now that you've got that out of the way, with apologies to my buddy Dennis Smith, who had 2 interceptions and a key fumble recovery when New England was driving for what could have been a touchdown to get it back in the game. Number 49 was my pick.
Dennis Smith with 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery got the almost We Try Harder Award by Avis.
We Try Really Harder Award.
Yeah.
Right there, Charlie. You just saw a fumble snap from center. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't go with the second-string quarterback. Gary Kubiak got to be a little bit frustrating to come in all the time in mop-up time. There he is. Dennis. There he is, Dennis Smith.
You look out for your guys, don't you?
7-foot high jumper when he was in college. That man right there. Terrific athlete.
Alcoa presents Fantastic.
Go here at Mile High Stadium. The score, the Denver Broncos 20 and And the New England Patriots 3. Second down and 11. The ball at the 42-yard line. Gaston Green. He's pretty well been shut down today. Let's check in with the standings of the AFC West. This is updated with Denver's victory here.
Kansas City's victory over Seattle. Now they're 8-5. Later this evening, Los Angeles Raiders will play the San Diego Chargers. And I think people should realize that's no gimmick, because one of the Chargers' 3 victories early in the season was over the Raiders in the Coliseum.
In the Coliseum. Third down. Kubiak is the quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And a chance now to bring to your attention the fact that our executive producer is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football is John Paratzis. Today's telecast produced by Tom Roy. Directed by John McDonough. Dennis Kazaza is our associate director. Amy Nick, our production associate. All of the graphics and all of the good look has been Amy. She really did a super job for us. Production manager and tech director. Good crew here. Give a chance for you to check out the names and the numbers of those that make our telecast possible.
You know that there are relatives at home checking it out.
You bet. You bet. By the way, Ray Friedman, our statistician, for many, many years, we go back to, I'd say 19, long time. Mary Thorne, Brad Pearson, our spotters. Our producer spotter has been Mark Friedman. Nate Leaf has manned the interlude.
You go clear back to when Denver had vertical strikes?
Yes, 1960. Oh, yeah. Fourth down. If they were funny. And here is the kick. Henderson on the release, head for the side. 58 seconds is the time remaining. 30 yards on the kick. New England's record will go to 4-9. They defeat Houston. They defeat Buffalo, the leaders in the other 2 divisions, but they couldn't knock off the co-leader in the West, the Denver Broncos.
Well, since Dan Reeves has been the head coach of the Denver Broncos, they have had the best home record in the National Football League. Very impressive, nearly an 800 winning percentage. And so to come into Mile High and defeat the Denver Broncos is really a formidable task.
Miller throws, Cook has it, and he is stopped in his tracks by Michael Brooks. And again, New England with the no-huddle offense. That is the 6th reception. As we have now a 2nd and 3. McMurtry, he gets to the outside. He stops the clock with 30 seconds to go.
Good chance for some of the receivers to pad their stats. I've been in a situation a time or 2 myself.
You wouldn't do anything like that.
The heck you say?
Do you discuss that? They don't do it here because of the no huddle, but do you discuss that in the huddle?
Heck yeah.
Let's work on my stats.
You do what you can to catch the quarterback's eye. Okay, throw me the ball, man.
Broncos has the ball. Clock will be stopped on the exchange of possession. Brian Sauché comes out with it. Jeff Mills knocks it away.
So Hugh Millen rolled right back into Jeff Mills. He was actually blocked pretty well. Take a look at the left of your screen. Jeff Mills comes in, being blocked by John Stephen, goes to the 360. He's actually being blocked out, but he turns right into him right there. Doesn't know he's there. Loses the ball, and Sauché comes up with the turnover.
4 turnovers. Dennis Smith had the other 3 with 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery for the Broncos. And now they'll be content just to kneel on it and to take the countdown on the clock. And be sure to stay with us for our Old Spice NFL postgame show. The fans that have stayed are booing. They want one more touchdown. Nick McPherson coming across to shake hands with Dan Reeves, the two head coaches. The final score, it is now official, Denver 20 and New England 3.
This helps the Denver Broncos a lot. I think after losing 2 of the last 3 against AFC West opponents over the last 3 weeks, this was a get-well game. And as Carl Mecklenburg mentioned earlier, he said that they need to beat the teams that they are supposed to beat, and that's exactly what happened today by a 20-3 count.